Hi, I'm Jubal. I used to have hair. I've always loved art and music. In 2005, I was a senior at Northern Kentucky University, and my thesis project was a study into how art and music fit together. I called it The Colors of Music. My big idea was to build a bunch of big panels and put CD players inside them, to do some big oil paintings on them, to have an art show, and then profit. This one didn't quite materialize. So I got to work. I got a bunch of panels and boards. I used a big table saw to cut them down to size. I got the pieces together. I screwed them, I glued them, and I clamped them good and tight. I gathered them all up and took them out and got them ready to paint primer on them. Then I stationed myself in my grandmother's garage. Thanks, Mammy. I had roughly 5 months to finish the project. The piece that got the ball rolling was based on a figure modeling session I'd had from a painting class where the subject was playing violin, and I started interpreting the music around the figure on the canvas. I took this piece as a starting point, and I worked on it some more, and I matched it to some music that I recorded with my cousins Maggie and Josh. This ended up being the first painting in the series, and as I worked on it, it took on a new life of its own, where eventually the musical painting abstraction that I was doing consumed the entire piece and even covered the original figure itself. Next, I wanted to do Robert Johnson's Crossroad Blues as a seminal American Delta blues sampler. I kept it threadbare and raw and tried to let the emotive music flow unhindered alongside a simple, relevant image. Next, I chose Jerry Garcia and the Grateful Dead's Terrapin Station, one of my favorite songs. Again, I went for a singular main thematic image, taking center stage there, and this one came to me at the onset of the piece as I was listening to the music. I had to choose a bluegrass piece since I'm from Kentucky, so I picked Bill Monroe's Crossing the Cumberlands. This one I took a literal approach again, very specifically exactly what I thought the song was about. It went through a few stages. Here's the final result. I knew I had to do a Jimi Hendrix song, and I knew it had to be fire. When I started working on it, it was tricky to capture the rock and roll energy, the heat, and sexual explosiveness of the song. I also chose Free Jazz by Ornette Coleman because I wanted to do an abstract piece. Here I was able to explore color, rhythm, and chaos to match the crazy music. This one turned out to be the most fun because there were no rules and I could just go nuts with it. For Bob Dylan's Like a Rolling Stone, I had an initial idea for a central image, but it seemed bland and lifeless until I had an epiphany to bring this one together. The idea was to build the image with thousands of tiny little circles. So after working countless hours painting these tiny circles, I eventually stepped back and I looked at the piece and I found that they matched the constant rhythm of the song, and it felt like I had pulled the piece together and pulled a rabbit out of my hat. Finally, I wanted to do John Coltrane's My Favorite Things. I listened to this song over and over, and as I painted, I tried to let the music flow through my paintbrush, but keeping it slightly controlled and representational at the same time. This one took the longest and went through many permutations to get to its final state, which you see here. Well, 5 months passed quickly, and I had a big art show, and lots of people came out. The art was hung, and headphones were attached to each piece, providing a real audio and visual combination that really engaged the senses of the audience. I got a lot of great feedback from the show, and people seemed to confirm my original thesis that art and music combined offers the best way to experience the work. I eventually graduated and started a career as a pro artist. Still waiting on that profit, though.